The Talking Cheeseheads on cheeseheadtalk.com.
So the whole Desmond Bishop thing again. I don't get it. I need your help. I don't get it. Don't understand it. It's been a little over a day now since we heard the news that the Packers are either going to say, yo, Desmond, take a big pay cut or you're gone. And I don't get it. I've heard some reasons, and I've heard people say, well, I'm not surprised. Well, okay, you're not surprised. I know we heard about it at the draft time, that the Packers have been rumored to trying to shop him a little bit, and no takers, duh, because he's only coming off a major injury. But I still don't get it. So okay, you have Desmond Bishop. He's your best defensive player from a couple of years ago, right? 115 tackles, physical presence. Remember, physicality, what we're trying to do here? So the Packers signed Brad Jones, who is a little smaller, durable, I suppose, to starters money. And at the time, a lot of people said, I don't get it. And now people are saying, including me, I don't get it. And A.J. Hawk, they restructured his deal to take a pay cut because he hadn't been playing particularly well. It had some moments, but he's limited, right? And they want Brad Jones and A.J. Hawk to be the starting linebackers and Bishop inside. And Bishop takes that situation and makes it a financial logjam, apparently. But to the part where you want Brad Jones and A.J. Hawk to be your starting inside linebackers, I say, I don't get it. Okay? Lots of these to come. So that's the deal there. Now, Desmond Bishop tore the tendon, ruptured his tendon in his hamstring in the preseason opener last year at San Diego. That's a pretty severe injury. I've never done it to myself, but I know it's pretty bad. So there's a significant chance that he's not going to be anywhere near the player he was last year. Now, I do get that. I understand that. But here's the part I don't get. You haven't even had him on the field yet, right? He hasn't been there for OTAs or mini camps. They're holding him off. He claims his hamstring's 100% for whatever that's worth, and it's probably not worth much, but okay. But you haven't even had him on the field to try it yet, right? This guy was really good, physical, aggressive, run stopping, and you're already ready to just ditch him now here in June before you even had the chance to see him on the field in training camp. I don't get it. Okay, I don't understand that. I understand from the standpoint that, you know, you're worried that if he re-injures it in training camp, you're on the hook for the $3.4 million. But let's examine that for a minute. $3.4 million, lots of money, undoubtedly, for you and me. For the Packers, they're not in cap trouble, even with Aaron Rodgers' contracts. They're much closer to the cap than they were. And so it'd just be the principle of paying a guy who's not playing, which, you know, I understand that that's tough, but don't you have to kind of, isn't that the risk of doing business from time to time in the NFL? And having a dead $3.4 million for 1 year because you took that risk, which could have big upside, isn't a big deal to me. I don't think it's a big deal to a lot of people. NFL teams I'm talking about. So once again, cutting him before he even gets a chance to be on the field and prove himself, I don't get it. Now, could all this be, you know, kind of a moot point later? I mean, what's likely going to happen here, what seems likely going to happen is the Packers are going to cut Desmond Bishop. He's going to catch on somewhere else, and he won't be the player he was, and they'll be all proven right and blah, blah, blah. But look, the Packers have been wrong before. Remember Vontae Leach, the fullback, turns into a Pro Bowl fullback, wins Super Bowl with Baltimore, good player, right? Remember that? Remember seeing him on the field going, yeah, that's a former Packer, you know? And I know without Vontae Leach departing, we probably wouldn't have the magnificence of John Kuhn, but still, you know, it's not just a slam dunk. Ted Thompson and company, certainly not infallible here. So, I don't get it. You're cutting Desmond Bishop, or potentially here, if you won't take a pay cut. You've said throughout and out you want a more physical team, and you're not even going to give this guy a chance. I just don't understand. I need help understanding this. It makes no sense to me. Please help me. And from Desmond Bishop's perspective, by the way, I'll say this. If you're Desmond Bishop, you know, you're prideful. You've worked your ass off, I'm sure, to get healthy, right? it sucks to have a team come to you and say, we need you to take a pay cut or we're going to cut you. And it's why a lot of players don't have a lot of loyalty. I get that. I do get that. But from his standpoint, what I don't get is why wouldn't you talk to him? And maybe he is. I don't know if he is or isn't with his agent talking to the Packers. But if they do cut him, he's not going to go somewhere else and sign for that much money at all. No team is going to take a big risk on him whatsoever. It's going to be substantially less. So he can probably still get more to stay in Green Bay. And I know Mike McCarthy's hopeful of that. But it's all in Ted Thompson and company's hands now. Wouldn't you just rather have Bishop on the field come training camp to see what happens here, to see how he can be? What if he's at 90% of what he was? Isn't that still pretty good? Isn't that still maybe better than Brad Jones, or at least some good depth at the linebacker position for the Packers? Once again, I tell you, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm disturbed. I think a lot of Packer fans are disturbed. I don't get it. I want to get it. I don't get it. We're the Talking Cheeseheads. You can check out our entire podcast. Talk to Justin Hull about this. Maybe he can help me and us as Packer fans a little bit later on here in the podcast. But go to iTunes. Check out Talking Cheeseheads at iTunes, and you can have the entire podcast. And, of course, we're always on YouTube, the Talking Cheeseheads channel. Subscribe and enjoy. And maybe you can help me get it. We're the Talking Cheeseheads, cheeseheadtalk.com.
The Talking Cheeseheads on cheeseheadtalk.com.